Welcome back, you guys. You just read the article, Customers Allowed to Cancel Delivered Orders. So picture this, it's the late night, you're getting the munchies, and you order from a delivery app. When the food comes, not only does it come later than you expected, but you notice that they undercharged you. So you're being the good Samaritan that you are, you want to call and say that you owe them some money. But as you start to dig into your sandwich, you look inside and there's a little bit of lettuce and a little bit of tomatoes and the most sad amount of chicken underneath that. And now you start thinking, wait, why did I pay for this? So maybe they were undercharging me because of this subpar sandwich that they gave me. All these things happened to the author of this article. And at the time, he felt like, do I make the call? When you make the call to the delivery app to fix this, how do they fix this? Do they refund you your money? Would you like some chicken to be brought to you so you can complete your meal? What steps should be taken in order to mend this wrong, to right this wrong? So fast forward to now current year. In 2024, most apps are now allowing the customers to cancel orders when anything is subpar in their order. If they didn't receive something properly, if something was undercooked, if the order was just wrong, they're allowed to cancel it. And not just, they have to send it back or somebody has to check how it used to be where you have to speak to a representative and you have to let them know you're the whole ordeal, everything that happens, send photo evidence. Now you just send, with the clicks of a few buttons, then you're able to get your full amount back into your account of what you paid. So most people might think like, oh, you can take advantage of this, but it's not like they're allowing everything to be canceled. Like just because it didn't suit your mood at that time, you cannot cancel it. Even if you received your food, you can cancel the order and get your money back. However, they're relying on the good faith of people that they have a real reason for canceling this. I imagine that it might be a risky move on the company, but a lot of people are looking at it as a plus and a reason to use the apps because they feel like it's less of a hassle if something.
Yeah, right.
If the food happens to be compromised in some way. Yeah, it's nice to think that you don't have to go through a lot to get your money back if something weird happens with your food. You don't know what's happening out there. Do you often get the munchies like the author did? And what types of foods do you usually crave at those times?
I think I was born hungry. I'm always ready to munch if the opportunity is there. But in terms of what I order from delivery services, it typically tends to be things that I find it difficult to cook. So something that I do not have the capability of cooking, like authentic Chinese food. I don't know how to do that, and that is a food that I crave because it's like warm and salty. So typically that's the thing that I order the most. How about you?
Desserts. Same like how you said, if I cannot cook it, if I cannot make it, then I'm more likely to order it, especially at night. If I've already eaten my dinner, maybe I made myself some ramen at home, and then I feel the munchies, I might order some ice cream. I can't make ice cream. I can't. I've tried. I'm not good at it.
You're no Baskin Robbins.
I'm not Baskin Robbins. I lack all 31 flavors. Something like that. A dessert, most specifically a dessert. When was the last time that you noticed something didn't look quite right with your food, and what was the problem, and how did you handle it?
So I have to say that if you asked me this question and we were living in England, I think that my answer would be very different. But living in Korea, I feel less inclined to point out a problem with the food because the reward is not worth the hassle of me pulling Korean vocabulary out of my brain to try to explain what the problem was. And so about 6 months ago, I found it seemed like someone had opened a can of something and like a small slither of the metal had ended up in my food. And so thankfully I managed to see this happening. Like I saw the sparkle in my food before I had put it into my mouth, and like I pulled it out and looked at it, and I was trying to weigh up whether I should say something or not, because I was on my own. It was like a lunchtime rush at this place, and I've been there many times before, and I've never had a situation like this. So I just put it on the side of my plate and then continued to eat my food. If that happened in England, I think I would have made much more of a fuss, because if I had have eaten it, in hindsight, it was really dangerous for it to be in there. But really, I like looked at it and I thought, this isn't worth speaking Korean for. I'm just gonna. I saw it. I'm not choking. I'm just gonna leave it alone. How about you?
I feel like I'm the opposite. I was less like back home in the States.
Oh, really?
I was less likely to complain.
Oh.
But here, I think a lot of the people around me, the Koreans around me, they kind of push me like, you should complain. Like you as a customer, you have the right. You should complain. They shouldn't have made these mistakes. They hold them to a higher standard.
Yes.
And so it's made me more critical. I used to not really care, but there was times when I would order food and I was very sick and almost I was in bed and not bedridden completely, but I didn't need to go outside because of my condition, and I had ordered something and they delivered it to the wrong place. I had made the call and they told me, well, can you go out there and look for it? And I'm like, no, you were given an address, you should have delivered it to them. You don't know I could be missing my legs and I have no access outside, right?
Yes.
So in those cases, when I think about it like that and somebody in a worse situation, I think it is our duty to complain, so it doesn't happen to other people in worse situations that maybe they also wouldn't complain. I'm complaining on your behalf.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Doing my duty. Oh, it's interesting to see how we hold these companies or these delivery apps accountable, but it's good to keep in mind. Same like with this vocabulary that you learn, keep that in mind and use it in your day-to-day. And we'll see you in the next article.
Bye.
Munchies.
Munchies.
Scrap.
Scrap.
Shrug something off.
Shrug something off.
Substandard.
Substandard.
Compromised.
Compromised.